Hi, sorry to hijack this, but I was going to make a video about this too. So some of the red flags, at least that I was able to identify before the event even started, one, they weren't very transparent about being associated with the Doki Doki event planners in Singapore, that they had the reputation that they did, like with whatever the Google Doc has. I haven't read it yet. But I'd love to see if anyone can send that to me. Cool. They weren't transparent about being associated with Doki Doki until like the very weekend of the convention, which was a little odd to do. Another thing that I would consider a red flag would be like the radio silence on socials beyond like sharing artists. Like they announced voice actors that they got to guest like very fairly late in the game. And I guess for a first year convention, like usually you have that sort of thing kind of straightened out a little in advance, at least from my experience. Unless you're like AX, but they can do that because they know that people are going to go regardless and people will make time for them. But for first year convention, no. Another thing was the decision to go from a 2-day event to a 3-day event, like a month out, a little over a month out, which is a little odd. They told us that the addition of Friday would be optional for vendors to attend, which is why there were empty tables. But what we didn't know was Friday was intended to be a preview day for VIPs. So if I were a VIP and I paid that much, I'd be a little upset. Majority of artists did not know that there was another art market that was ran by them at the week before, because again, no advertising, which is another red flag. Absolutely no advertising until during and after the event. Beyond like the initial advertising, I think that started in December of last year, looking for artists, and they had their vendor applications open like 2 weeks or so before the con actually was scheduled to start. So I was kind of aware of these, but I chose to participate anyways because it wouldn't be that much of a loss for me. But for the people who were kind of riding on this convention, it really sucked. And then, of course, day of red flags, I would say the number one thing I noticed was like no signage at all stating that there was even a convention or an event going on at the convention center. Even just being at a convention center for a first year convention and you have like no visible like sponsors is a little suspicious to me, because it's like, how are you getting that money to be at a convention center to be renting that space? Not really any staff. Like there were people there that were really nice that were just like contracted out like event management or whatever, but like they weren't really like staff walking around that I noticed. Yeah.